Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the University of Dundee Master of Education webinar. My name is Helen Spiropoulos. I'm the Admissions Manager at Stafford Global. And joining me this evening all the way from the university is Dr. Marie. Good evening to you, Dr. Marie.
Good evening, Helen, and everybody joining us tonight. It's lovely to be with you.
Nice to see you again, and thank you very much everyone for joining us. I can see that we have some students as far as Africa as well as the Middle East, so thank you very much for joining us. And how we are going to conduct the webinar this evening is I'm just going to briefly introduce you to Stafford Global and what our role is here and what our relationship is with University of Dundee. I'm then going to hand you over to Dr. Marie, who's going to take you through the program, and at the end of the presentation you will have the ability to type out any questions that you'd like to ask me with regards to admissions or anything to do with academics can be directed to Marie. I will be looking at these questions quite closely because a lot of the questions are very similar, if not identical. So please do listen out for your question and answer. Okay, so let's get started. Who is Stafford Global? Well, Stafford Global was established in 1993, and we are a resource centre for distance learning education in the Middle East. Now, we are currently a resource centre for 6 UK universities, one of which is the University of Dundee. And we have been in a very successful relationship with the University of Dundee for quite a few years now. And we do offer the Master of Education programme. Now, we do also offer a variety of programs ranging from certificates, diplomas, bachelors, MBAs, right through until doctorates. So we really do have the correct program for your personal and your professional needs. Now, the mere fact that you're here with us this evening means that you have been in touch with one of our experienced academic consultants, and our role is to assist you throughout the entire application process, make sure that you get that very important unconditional offer. And we do also offer some administrative support once you have started the program. Okay, so I'm now going to hand you over to Dr. Marie, and as mentioned, I will join you again towards the end of the presentation. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Helen. Thank you, everybody. As I say, it's lovely to be here with you tonight. So I'm Marie Beresford-Dey, and I'm one of the lecturers on the MEd programme, primarily in educational leadership, but I'm also the academic lead and advisor of studies for any student who's studying with Dundee on the MEd via Stafford Associates. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to talk very briefly about Dundee, the University of Dundee, the MEd programme, and then we're going to narrow that down to briefly explore some of the modules and pathways through the programme. Okay, University of Dundee, they want a huge welcome from us, and just to give you a little bit of information of who we are here over in Dundee in Scotland. As a university, we make a difference across the world. We have students all over the world, and this delivers impact. We work across boundaries with an interdisciplinary and team-based approach. We don't, we adopt an enterprising approach, embedding in the curriculum, and through that we aim to provide you with the skills and knowledge and understanding for that creativity in terms of problem solving and finding those solutions to 21st century problems. As I say, we have students all over the world. We have staff who are from a variety of different backgrounds. So we do act locally and globally. And through that, we do transform lives. And the same can be said within the School of Education and Social Work also. Okay, you can see from the screen there, excuse me, and that we are placed highly on quite regularly in the university rankings, and we are very proud of this at the university, particularly when when we consider just how many universities there are around the world, and that we're actually well represented within each of these rankings. So you are joining, or you would be joining, hopefully you will be, one of the top universities in the world. So thank you for your interest. Okay, so on to the MEd. What is the MEd? Well, the MEd is a professional development programme that's undertaken at level 11 on the Scottish Qualifications Framework. So that's a study at master's level. So although the MEd is recognised by the General Teaching Council in Scotland, it's not a teaching qualification, and I think it's important to reiterate that and make that explicit. Although it's not a teaching qualification, it is suitable for within some countries and accepted into teaching. However, you are advised, as different national governments have different prerequisites for teaching, then please do check with your relevant or government or registering body. For any students coming onto the programme, we do expect that you will have relevant experience and quite substantial experience within educational settings in the classroom environment for you to be able to reflect on. This is a reflective practice programme that does try to strongly link that theory and practice. Okay, so overview of the programme. You can study part-time fast track or fast track, which offers some flexibility and autonomy within your study. This is a blended learning programme, so where possible, where restrictions and things allow, that does mean that there are also optional face-to-face workshops, which I'll come to shortly. It's practice-based, so as I say, you do need to have that experience to be able to draw from quite substantially. And it's a professional development or learning qualification. In addition to the General Teaching Council of Scotland recognising this qualification, it's also recognised and accredited by the International Baccalaureate, the IB, and I'll speak more about that soon. And students from all sectors of education come onto the programme, so from early years through to higher education, private and public sectors, and sometimes education from different disciplines also, such as medical education and dentistry education. And throughout the programme, we have a variety of different routes and foci, and we believe that all of this does mean that it results in a very rich programme where students from that variety of backgrounds are bringing their context to share with each other and to have those deep, meaningful discussions in terms of the module content. We treat all students equally, so even though you'll be studying at a distance, you still have access to student support. It is an internationally recognised postgraduate qualification that has education as its focus, as I say, from early years through to education, and a variety of different perspectives on that. Okay, so why study at master's level? There are several benefits to this, and I speak from personal experience as well as my knowledge. Deepens and broadens your knowledge through asking questions, seeking those answers, and exploring the landscape from different perspectives, which then changes the way that you perceive the world. And through this, you'll develop a more inquiring, reflective, critical and innovative approach to practice. Through undertaking the MEd, you'll demonstrate your mastery of education, which of course can then be honed further to specialise in an educational area. It enables you to develop transferable skills such as criticality, communication, use of technology and organisational skills. Study at master's level also enables you to improve your career prospects, which often leads to higher incomes, as this also includes professional progression into perhaps leadership and management roles. Also, you might wish to progress to doctoral study if you obtain the full MEd, and we certainly see students doing that. In addition to that, I've also got a number of students who I'm currently working with who are looking to publish their final dissertation, so that's very exciting too. Some countries consider teaching as a master's level profession, so obtaining an MEd enables you to meet the professional requirements for these countries. So lots of benefits for undertaking a master's programme. Okay, so now let's just take a little look at the MEd at the University of Dundee. So why this programme in particular? It's a programme of study that brings together, as I say, the theory with your practice, and we do align that. It is quite theoretically driven, so be aware of that, and then we encourage you to utilise that knowledge into your practice, but also then to draw from your practice to be able to discuss the theory as well. So it's a two-way process. It encourages you to draw on your experiences and align them with that literature. And that's really key to the MEd. As I say, it does enable you to question why we do certain things, but also whether there are alternative ways where practice can be enhanced. So it encourages you to strengthen your knowledge about global educational developments through offering an opportunity to critically explore different perspectives of education. There are many other reasons as well, but all of this helps you to develop or extend your confidence and enhance your professional career. As tutors, we are continuously seeing our students' practice being influenced by their learning at master's level. All of the modules are at master's level, so even if you are undertaking a postgraduate certificate level, it's still working at master's level. All in all, this inevitably benefits the students, your students, and the staff who you're working with, as well as your own practice. Okay, so to obtain a Master of Education degree, you'll need to complete 180 credits of study in any of the named awards that you see there. The award of Leading Learning and Teaching, highlighted in bold, that's our generic award, which provides subject flexibility. However, if you require a subject specialism, you can see that we have a number of options to choose from educational leadership to nursery, early education and TESOL. We have TESOL is the most recent of our pathways, and this pathway is primarily suitable for new graduates and teachers of English with little to a few years of teaching experience. It could also be suitable for those who would like to become TESOL leaders in their institutions and or pursue consultancies, for example in charities or educational organisations, or across different state or private schools and universities. So there's a whole host of possibilities with that MEd in TESOL. Okay, so taking a look at the optional modules, each of the optional modules enable you to carry out the study and assignments without being in a workplace environment, as long as you have relevant teaching experience to draw from. And as I said previously, that does have to be a substantial amount of experience. Each optional module is worth as a single credit module is worth 30 credits. In addition, we have primarily 3 core modules reflecting upon practice, research methods and dissertation. However, if you're doing an IB route, which I'll talk about in a moment, that reflecting upon practice module may change to reflecting upon leadership in the IB. So depending which pathway you take, that may change slightly. The reflection modules and research methods are both worth 30 credits. The dissertation is a double credit module, so it is worth 60 credits. Okay, so what you can see now is supposed to demonstrate how the named awards and modules link. You can see that the generic Leading Learning and Teaching Awards enables you to undertake any 2 optional modules, along with having the flexibility at dissertation stage. Whereas the named awards, and those that are not highlighted in bold, do require you to undertake specific modules, and the dissertation must focus on an area that's relevant to the named award. So, for example, if you wish to obtain an MEd in educational leadership, then one of your optional modules must be leadership and organisational development, with a free choice of second optional. But then your dissertation must also focus on educational leadership. I mentioned the International Baccalaureate. For these awards, once you commence your studies at Dundee, you'll need to register directly with the IB. And we do provide you with guidelines for this process. We also have a dedicated member of staff who will provide you with IB support. We don't provide any additional assignments, and you're not required to undertake any additional assignments for each of the IB awards, but you will be expected to underpin your writing with IB publications. And again, we provide you with the support with this. You can see from the screen there that we have 3 IB options for you. The first of those is the certificate in leadership practice. There's no prerequisites of IB experience for this, so it is quite a nice way to enter the IB world if you don't have any IB teaching experience. We have then the advanced certificate in leadership research. And one of those pathways is that you will undertake the certificate. If you don't have the experience, you'll undertake the certificate in leadership practice before moving on to the advanced certificate. And that way, there's no prerequisite of IB experience. But also, you may join in with that advanced award if you are if you have 3 years teaching experience, and we could slightly adapt the route through. However, for that advanced certificate and the next advanced certificate there at the bottom of the screen, you do need to complete the full MEd to be able to obtain those. So, and then for the advanced certificate in learning and teaching research, you do need 3 years teaching experience in an IB school. Okay, so we'll just talk through a couple of examples here to show you what the pathways could look like. Of course, there are always some differences, and that could be because you've got credit exemption, for example. It may be that you take a temporary withdrawal for some reason at a certain point in your studies, which might mean that there is a difference in the years of study. However, generally, this is a typical part-time route that includes the IB Advanced Teaching and Learning Research. So what we can see here in year 1, you would undertake the Reflecting Upon Practice module, the core module, followed by an optional module. And then you have eligibility at that point to exit with a postgraduate certificate. Please note, if you are undertaking the postgraduate diploma and the full MEd, you don't get certificates at each of these exit points. You only receive a certificate from the university once you've completed the award that you have enrolled on or matriculated for. Okay. Year 2, then you would undertake your second optional module, followed by the research methods. And at that point, you have eligibility to exit with postgraduate diploma. And then in year 3, hopefully you'll continue to carry out the full MEd, which means that in your final year, you'll undertake the dissertation, where you'll have the full 180 credits upon successful completion. And not only will you be eligible to exit with the MEd at that point, but also you have eligibility for the IB if you've been working towards that throughout. Okay, we'll take a brief look at another route through, and this is the MEd, again, part-time route with the IB leadership practice. So this might be something that you're interested in if you don't have that IB 3 years teaching, but you're interested in obtaining IB certificates. In year 1, you would undertake the leadership and organisational development module, and then follow on with reflecting upon leadership in the IB. And it's that second module that takes place of the core module that I'd mentioned previously. Again, at that point, you are eligible then to exit with postgraduate certificates and IB Leadership Practice Award. Of course, making sure that you draw from IB throughout the study of those modules. You may wish to then carry on, and we hope you do, into year 2, where you will have an optional module, and that's any of our modules of your choice, followed by the core module of research methods, and that provides eligibility for the postgraduate diploma. And then again, in final year, you'll have your dissertation, and to obtain a named award, you would need to have a leadership focus if it's in educational leadership, but more importantly, you'll need that leadership focus in your dissertation, along with drawing from IB literature, to be eligible for that advanced IB leadership award. Okay, there's lots of variations, and it is quite a complex programme, but that's to offer you as much flexibility as we possibly can. So yeah, you may just have to sit and work through the different routes that will suit you with your academic consultant. Okay, the study duration, I've already mentioned that there's part-time route and the fast-track route. The difference here is that you double up the study for the fast-track route. So part-time, you would be studying one 30-credit module over 17 weeks, whereas the fast-track, you'll be studying two 30-credit modules over the same time period. And then for the dissertation, which is the 60-credit module, for part-time students, you would undertake that over 46 weeks, whereas for the fast track, you would undertake that over 23 weeks. That equates to notional study time for part-time students as approximately 17.5 hours per week, and for fast-track students we're looking at 35 hours of study per week. So you can see that undertaking the fast-track route is quite intense, and it really assumes that you are a full-time student. So if you are currently working, you need to take into consideration, can you fit in 35 hours of study per week into your timetable, plus all of maybe family and life commitments that you have as well. So please do give that deep consideration if you are thinking about the fast track route. Optional workshops, as I mentioned, we do have for workshops. Hopefully these will be face-to-face, but it does again depending on restrictions that are brought about by COVID and other global matters. But if they're not offered face-to-face, you will have an opportunity to attend the workshops online, and they are well attended, and students still get lots of benefits from those. So we do ask you to attend if possible, because it will be beneficial to you. The next workshops are planned for Saturday the 8th and Sunday the 9th of October. Okay, so benefits for the workshops. It really is about providing students with an understanding of what the virtual platform might look like, how you go about studying, what does master's level studying look like. It helps you to improve your understanding of master's level study skills, including things like criticality. Also, it's an opportunity, and I would say this is just as important, if not more important, than understanding study skills, for you to network with your fellow peers and meeting university tutors. All in all, that does give you a greater sense of confidence of studying at master's level, and often that's in the student feedback that we receive about whether that's online or face-to-face workshops. It's a time I thoroughly enjoy meeting new students as well. Okay, so entry requirements onto the programme. All routes must have an undergraduate degree, and that can be in any discipline, but it must be an undergraduate degree. If your undergrad degree was not taught in English, and English is not your first language, then the English requirement is an academic IELTS of 6.5 or equivalent to that. As I say, you do need teaching experiences. So we are looking for educators who currently work in relevant settings and wish to enhance their professional learning and improve your career progression prospects, or for educators who have previous work experience, not necessarily current, although it does need to be recent, in a relevant educational setting. Again, enough for you to reflect on at a deep level. Graduation timescales. This process can take a little longer than what some students expect. Universities have a series of processes that need to go through once you have passed your final assignment for your awards. The MEd Board of Examiners meeting is held in September, and we also have the Chairs meeting, which is held in May of each year. And it's those points when your grades get ratified, and it's only at that point then can your information then be passed into the graduation office in preparation for the graduation. We have 2 graduation opportunities each year, that's June and November ceremonies. So a registered will contact you to inform you that you may be eligible to graduate. This is depending on passing the final module and this being ratified by the Board of Examiners. So it's always useful to check with us once you've passed that, before you start booking any travel arrangements and things like that, just to confirm that all is as it should be, and that yes, please do start booking travel arrangements. If you can't make graduation, then certificates are posted out to you at the time of graduation. On completion, letters of attainment can be requested from the graduation office before you receive your certificate. But what we will say is do contact us, and particularly the programme administrator, who will be able to provide you with that confirmation letter that you've achieved your award. No certificate can be provided until you have graduated, either in June or May. As I say, that doesn't necessarily mean that you attend graduation, but you have to have graduated at those points. Okay, what do our students say? Well, the programme is very popular, and we do get a lot of super feedback from our students. As tutors, we thoroughly enjoy working with students from a wide range and diverse backgrounds. It makes it so pleasurable for us, and we are continuously learning alongside our students as well. But more importantly, it's seeing that development of students, not just academically, but getting to know how they're progressing within their professional lives as well. We do enjoy supporting our students at all times, and hopefully we demonstrate that dedication to the subject matter as well. So yes, hopefully we'll see you soon on the programme so we can work with you. The tuition fees, please contact the team at Stafford, who will be able to talk you through the different payment methods and opportunities. And the application deadline, 12th of September, which might seem like a long time away, but it's going to be here in no time at all. So please start getting those applications prepared and submitted. Nice timing, Helen, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marie. That was excellent, a very good presentation. I'm sure everyone would agree. And I have looked at some of the questions, so I have started grouping them together already. Okay, so there's questions again about the duration, and I think you have actually covered that quite well. Yes, it can be done anything between 20 and 36 months. However, please do get in touch with us at Stafford Global, and we'll be able to advise you on that as well. As Dr. Marie has mentioned, there's a fast track option or the general route as well. Okay, here's a very interesting question. Does your course actually cover children's mental health?
We have the children and young people's wellbeing module, so there will be elements, I would imagine, of mental health in there because it covers all aspects of health and wellbeing. It's not a module that I teach on, so I can't go into deep detail about the content, but I do know it will look at physical, social, and emotional, cognitive wellbeing.
Excellent. And regarding the workshops, you have mentioned that they are not mandatory. Will this affect my studies in any way? Do I have access to any of the workshops that I may miss?
We always hope that students will be able to attend these because we do believe it does help to strengthen your knowledge, and I think just going into a new program with a little bit of that knowledge and extra knowledge and the confidence in which the workshops bring is always beneficial. But of course we realise everybody's busy, they're working, they've got families and so on, and the dates may not suit, so if you can't attend, then we do have the recordings of the workshops that are available to you, as well as all the resources and the presentations that are all made available to you.
Okay, we have a question on assessments. If I do happen to fail the assessment, do I get some feedback on that? And how many times can I submit an assessment?
Okay, students always worry from a very early stage about this. So regardless of whether you pass or fail the assignment, you get feedback and you get quite detailed feedback. And you also get a chance for formative assessment as well, part of the way through the programme, or through the module, should I say. So yes, you'll get feedback on that. If you do need to resubmit, there'll be extensive feedback on your work for you to be able to move forward with that for the resubmission. So you do get a second attempt to pass, and then that pass grade is capped at a certain level. But hopefully, let's think positive and let's think that you will pass, because if you can engage with the module, engage with the support that's offered to you, engage with each other, you stand a good chance of passing.
Okay, and here's an interesting question from Dina. Can I actually obtain credits from a master's level course in special needs?
if you've completed a full master's course elsewhere, because you've already received credit for the full master's, excuse me, then no, you wouldn't be able to receive credit for that. If it's only part of the course, then you may be able to.
All right, I will actually just add a little bit to that. What Dr. Marie has mentioned is that if you have got a postgraduate certificate or a postgraduate diploma on a master's level, then yes, we can look at possible exemptions. But if you have already been awarded a master's degree, unfortunately, we cannot look at giving any credit exemptions. And just on that credit exemptions, I have seen one or two questions very similar. If you are going to apply for any credit exemptions, you do require to submit the learning outcomes of the modules that you have completed. And that is very important for Dr. Marie and her team, because they need to map what you have completed with the modules that are offered through the MEd, just to make sure that it's the learning outcomes are actually covered so that you can get that credit exemption. So if you want more details on how to apply for credit exemptions, please do get in touch with your academic consultant and we'll be able to guide you on that.
Thank you, Helen, for stepping in there.
No problem. Okay, and a question on entry. I do not have a bachelor degree, but I do have a Montessori qualification and many other educational qualifications. Will I be accepted into the program?
I'm afraid you do need an undergraduate degree, as you know. There's lots of benefits for professional development qualifications and other academic qualifications, but for entry into a master's programme, you do need that undergraduate degree. If you don't have that, then please speak to the team at Stafford, because they may be able to provide different options for you to be able to top up, for example. So do contact the team and see if there's some way that they can help you there.
And can IB be included in the generic program?
In terms of the whether that's the teaching, learning, leading, leading, learning and teaching award, then yes, if you've got the requirements of that undergraduate degree and the English language requirements, then yes, and also, the experience too. You don't need to have any pre-specialisation for any of the awards, so it's not like we're asking you to have an undergraduate degree that may specialise, say, let's in early years, to be able to do the nursery and early years qualification, and the same with the leading, learning and teaching.
Okay, and can I actually start off on the normal route and then go on to a fast track option, or vice versa, if I find that it's too much for me to do the fast track option?
Yes, we do swap students around at certain points. It depends where students are in their module. If you come to us 2 days before the assignment's due in and you want to change from fast track to part-time, that's probably not going to happen at that point. However, yes, there are opportunities for that, and I would always say, as your advisor of study, if you want to change the pace of your study, the sooner you speak with me, the better, and we can see what we can do and work together with that.
Okay, and then there's a follow-up question, and can I study more than 2 optional modules at the same time?
No, is the answer to that. The maximum amount of optional modules that you can study is 2, because you have to complete the core modules as well. So no, it's 2 modules, or if there's credit exemptions, then you may just need the 1.
And what are my opportunities to actually further my studies into a PhD with this particular MEd?
Well, we have students who do move on to the PhD. I've got one very much in mind at the moment who is currently working through her doctoral studies, which is fantastic. And we've got a number of students who are hoping to go on to study for a PhD or a professional doctorate. Of course, there's the different types of doctoral studies. So yes, this would arm you very well, and often PhD programs or doctoral programs, whether that be PhD or postdoc, do require a master's degree to enter those programs. So it will equip you very well. As I mentioned in my presentation, I've also got some students who I'm currently working with to work towards the publications. So I'm hoping to turn their dissertations into published journal articles, which is incredibly exciting for me to be working with them. But also that does offer an enhancement to any doctoral qualification or doctoral program that you may apply for in the future.
Good, excellent. And there are quite a few students with us this evening that do hold a PGCI, which is fantastic. And yes, you can actually get into the program with a PGCI, and there are certain levels that you can actually enter the program as well. So please do get in touch with us, with your academic consultant, and we'll be able to guide you as to what level you can actually enter the program with that PGCI. Okay, and let's just go through to the next question. Very popular again with the graduation. What happens if I cannot attend the graduation? How do I get my degree certificate?
The graduation office will post out your degrees, your physical copy of your certificate, and that will take place at the time of graduation. So they won't be posting out certificates prior to graduation. It will be at the time of graduation or shortly after. So again, consider those dates of June and November when certificates get sent out. On that note, and I can't say this early enough, is once you're onto the programme, please do keep checking your contact details, making sure that they're up to date, because the last thing we want is for your certificate to go to an old address, which actually for some students could be thousands of miles away from where they are at that time.
And there's a question again about induction and how important is this induction? What happens if I cannot attend because I am busy teaching in a classroom? Is the induction done over the weekend? Just tell us a little bit about the induction.
Yeah, the induction runs over the course of 2 days, so it'll be Saturday and Sunday in the next workshop, and it may be that you can't attend any of those sessions because of different commitments. It may be that you may be able to attend some of those questions. What tends to happen is we will provide you with like webinar series, very similar to what we're doing now, presentations, discussions in that. You know, so it's a two-way process. Yes, I do quite a lot of talking, and hopefully my voice holds up at those times in those sessions. And then you're left with a couple of tasks, quite relatively simple tasks, just to reflect on where you are at that point in terms of your educational understanding, professional understanding. We're not testing you by any shape or form. What we are doing is encouraging that discussion and encouraging you to share your knowledge with your peers and the tutors, and to start building that knowledge from the very beginning. And then what happens, we come back later in the day to have a discussion about those tasks, and that kind of repeated on the second day as well. So the sorts of things that we look at, we introduce you to the master's program, we introduce you to the virtual learning platforms and the whole MEd team in terms of who you're going to be meeting along the way. We have a look at what it means to be a community of practice or a community of learners. Things like what it means to study at master's level, and also the criticality, because that's features very much in master's level learning, so critical reading, writing, and of course the thinking behind those things.
Good, that was quite a good explanation.
We've just completed the inductions recently, so it's all very fresh in my mind at the moment. And it was a great 2-day session with lots of engagement, lots of discussion, and I'm still buzzing from it.
Yeah. Perfect, excellent. And we have a question here about specializations. Specializations are very, very interesting. Is there any possibility that I can pick up a second specialization as a non-credit bearing specialization?
No, sorry, I had to think about that for a moment. What you would do is aim for that specialisation, the one specialisation. Of course, if you're undertaking the full MEd and you don't have the credit exemption, you can use your optional module to study the other area of your interest. So, for example, if you went down the route of the inclusive educator and inclusion is your specialisation, but then you also wanted to develop leadership understanding, then in your optional module you could choose that leadership module, and that will show on your transcripts that you have also that knowledge at master's level of that subject area.
Good, and I can see there's questions regarding English requirement. Please do get in touch with your academic consultant, and the reason I'm saying this is there may be other methods that you can undertake in order to meet that particular English requirement. So it's not 100% necessary for you to do an IELTS examination, but there are various methods of really meeting that requirement. So please do get in touch with us and we'll be able to advise you on the various scenarios around that. Okay, and a very interesting question that has come through from Dina again. During my MEd study, will there be anything that I can present to my school if I have fulfilled my time or credits for a postgraduate certificate? Because my school may require that I show them that I have completed a PG cert.
We do offer confirmation letters, so if you at that time, if you are carrying on with your studies but you need that confirmation that you've achieved the 2 modules that would provide you with eligibility for PG cert if you were exiting the programme, then yes, we can confirm that. And of course, with the 2 graduations being in June and November, and you finishing, a good few weeks in general before then, we can confirm that you'll have completed your award. We're just waiting for graduation. So confirmation letters are available, yeah.
Okay, but if a student is actually registered for a full MEd and just wants to show the school that they have completed the 60 credits, can a letter be issued just to confirm that particular aspect?
Yes, it would. A letter can be issued to confirm that. What we can't do, and what we do have students requesting, is that we send out a PG cert certificate, which we can't do, and you can only receive the certificate for the full programme or the full award that you're aiming for. So if you're undertaking an MEd, you can't receive, or you wouldn't receive a certificate for the postgraduate certificate or postgraduate diploma and the MEd, which some students do ask for. But primarily with the postgraduate certificate, because you may need it for your employer, and we fully understand that. So yes, we can provide you with a letter at that point to confirm the completion of those 2 modules, although you may be going on for further study.
Perfect. Excellent. Okay, so I have actually managed to group all the questions together, which was fantastic. Thank you so much. There were lovely, lovely questions coming through from everyone. And as Dr. Marie has said, we are currently open for the next upcoming intake. The application deadline is in September, not very, very far away. We do encourage you to submit your application as soon as possible so that we can get that very, very important unconditional offer for you, and in that way actually securing your place in the cohort. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, lovely to see you, Marie. I hope that you do get better, and hope to see everyone that was here with us on the program in November. Thank you, everyone, and a very good evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.